Yellowstone National Park is a geological wonder. It has unique hydrothermal and geological features, and visitors can observe wildlife in their natural habitat. There's approximately 728 grizzly bears in Greater Yellowstone's ecosystem. Since 1979, over 118 million people have visited Yellowstone and only 44 people were injured. The chances of being injured by a grizzly bear in Yellowstone are 1 in 2.7 million visits. Your chances of being attacked are much higher if you don't follow Yellowstone's suggestions. Lance Crosby, age 63, lived in Billings, Montana. Crosby worked as a seasonal nurse at Yellowstone Park in its urgent care clinics for over 5 seasons. Crosby was an experienced hiker, and enjoyed exploring the woods. He absolutely loved Yellowstone National Park, and had a strong interest in bears. On August 6 in 2015, Crosby decided to go hiking on Elephant Black Mountain. About halfway through his hike he ran into a grizzly bear and her 2 cubs foraging on mushrooms. Without bear spray or any weapon, Crosby was no match against the grizzly. He fought back, but it was no use. After killing Crosby, the female grizzly fed on him, and allowed her 2 cubs to feed, then stashed his body beneath dirt and debris to finish off later. On August 7, when Crosby did not show up at work at 8 a.m., he was reported missing. A search and rescue crew was sent out to look for Crosby. Foot searches were started along Yellowstone Beach from the Lake Ranger Station to Fishing Bridge Junction, the Natural Bridge Road, and the Elephant Back Loop Trail, since these were the areas Crosby enjoyed hiking. At approximately 12 p.m., a ranger noticed hiking boots sticking out from a burial cache. When approaching the area, the team heard bear cubs, and noticed the adult female bear run away from the burial cache. For safety reasons, the team backed off, and out of the area, and immediately reported what he found. As a precaution, the Elephant Black Trail and Elephant Black Mountain were immediately closed off to the public. The area was very close to the park's largest hotels. After locating the body, a team consisting of bear management personnel, medical personnel, and law enforcement rangers was put together to investigate the tragedy. Since a body was found, the search became a body recovery, and now the focus was public safety and preserving and gathering evidence. Investigators found no drag trails, or disturbed ground indicating an attack path, fight or struggle, blood splatter, clothing fragments or belongings from Crosby away from the body-buried cache. Yellowstone biologist Kerry Gunther said, "The absence of a clear attack path, and blood splatter trail combined with Mr. Crosby's ball cap being found within 3 feet of his left foot suggests that the initial contact by the bear occurred at the location where the body was found." The coroner ruled the cause of death as blunt force trauma. Crosby's body had puncture wounds and broken bones in his back, leading the coroner to believe that the grizzly grabbed and shook him violently. This contorted his body in a way that disrupted his brainstem, causing catastrophic damage, which led to cardiac arrest. This would account for the lack of blood found at the scene of the attack. It's not uncommon for a female grizzly to attack to protect her cubs. Usually the female bear will attack with brutal force but leave once she feels the threat is neutralized. However, when a bear eats human flesh, they must be euthanized. If left with her cubs, she will more than likely teach them to hunt humans. This poses a danger to anyone who crosses path with the bear, or her cubs. The investigation into Crosby's death revealed he made 2 critical mistakes. First, he was hiking alone, which is not a good idea in bear country. Second, he didn't bring bear spray. Furthermore, he was hiking off trail, and neglected to bring a cell phone. A friend of the victim said that Crosby believed that carrying bear spray would make him complacent, and thought it would be better to remain vigilant, and use his keen senses to avoid bears. This is not unusual. A recent survey of 7,700 day hikers in Yellowstone discovered that 60% of hiking groups were not in the recommended party size of 3 or more, and less than 14% carried bear spray. The sow was trapped, and DNA tests were performed to determine if she was the bear associated with the attack on Crosby. Once it was confirmed, the bear was given a sedative, then humanely executed. The grizzly was found to be in a fair nutritional state, and had moderate fat reserves. Yellowstone spokeswoman Amy Bartlett said, "If a bear consumes an individual, it's not allowed to remain in the population. It's not a risk we're willing to take." Park Superintendent Dan Wenk said, "We are deeply saddened by this tragedy, and our hearts go out to the family and friends of the victim." The decision to not spare the bear falls heavily on a previous incident where a female bear killed a man in Yellowstone. Brian Matayoshi was killed by a female bear with cubs, and park officials believed it wasn't predatory but defensive. However, not long after, the same bear killed another man, John Wallace, and fed on his body, then cached his remains for later. The sow was located, and euthanized. Bears are highly intelligent and highly adaptable. They quickly learn to exploit new food resources, especially if easily obtained. Bears remember the location, and the circumstances. Wenk says Yellowstone has had a grizzly bear management program since 1983. The primary goals of this program are to minimize bear-human interactions, prevent human-caused displacement of bears from prime food sources, and to decrease the risk of bear-caused human injuries. The two cubs were moved to the Toledo Zoo in Ohio. The cubs were healthy, weighing 60 pounds each. They were placed in quarantine for 60 days. Without the intervention of the zoo, the bears would likely have been euthanized as well, as they are too young to survive on their own. Yellowstone National Park officials have received criticism for euthanizing the female bear. Kerry Gunther, Yellowstone's lead bear management biologist, said his phone number and email were posted, as well as the park staff, and he's received hundreds of emails and calls. He said, "A lot of it I would classify as hate mail, and some of it thinly veiled threats, not only to me but other park staff. This really kind of took us by surprise. I think it's a wave of the future. People have learned to use social media as a weapon, and a few people putting out false information can really stir up lots and lots of people who may not know any of the real facts about the situation." Yellowstone officials remind everyone that all of Yellowstone is bear country. Hikers are encouraged to travel in groups of 3 or more, and always have bear spray readily accessible. Always make noises on the trail, and be on alert of bears. People are required to keep a distance of at least 100 yards from bears and wolves, and at least 25 yards from other large animals. Never approach a bear, wolf, mountain lion or any other wild animal to take photos. And never feed bears. Feeding bears will almost always result in both human and animal fatalities. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more from Wild Animal Network.